All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, Devin.
Hello, Sean. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving, brother. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
I am blessed. I'm excited about 2021, and it's going to be an awesome year.
Yes. Yes. And thanks to those of you joining us. This is our Plan Your 2021 Now team business. So this is a level above the agent production level where you own a team. It could be a team of one at the moment, what you're planning for your 2021, and or whether you've got a team of 50 agents, right? And you're doing 300 million. We're entrusting you're going to get a lot of value in a short amount of time. You don't have to sit through a 4-hour presentation and fill out 8 worksheets. We're going to show you a simple tool that we have used ourselves, tools like this to plan out our businesses. And so just so everybody knows a little bit about us, Devin, maybe just describe a little bit of your quick history, especially, with the slant of your experience with teams in real estate, just so people know
Sure.
who
Yeah.
you
I
are.
mean, just recently transitioned from a team ownership position within our former brokerage. I founded one of the largest expansion teams in our former brokerage, and was very excited to grow that out to multiple locations, and at one point hundreds of agents and thousands of transactions, and been very blessed to grow a large team. Also run a local business here in Orange County, California. Have a background in consulting with KPMG, and a background of technology, and just super excited as a coach to be able to help people break through on what it looks like for them to have the best 21 ever, and to really honestly break through all of the things that are going on in the world right now with COVID and all the other things. We just have seen some massive success with some of our clients. And when I talk about clients, I'm talking about coaching clients, business partners, and all the other ways that we connect with people.
Yep. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. So you were part of this huge real estate expansion network at our former brokerage. You and I were at the same brokerage. So I believe your team was number 5 at that brokerage in the world. We were number 13. And you guys did triple the units that we did. Last year, my real estate expansion team did we did about 464 units on 171 million in volume. For 4.8 million GCI. So I've held all positions in a real estate company, from cleaning the bathrooms and taking out the trash, all the way up to being an assistant, a buyer's agent, a listing agent, a team recruiter, a team owner, and then at the end we were the first franchise real estate team in the United States. So I actually franchised real estate teams. I've taken many real estate team owners through this planning process that you're about to experience. Both like people that have never been in the real estate business before, Devin, and having to explain to them, GCI is gross commission income and GCI equals revenue, right? All the way over to, veterans who've been in the business 20 plus years. We've got a business partner, Jim Gray. He sold 57 homes in his first year. All kinds of spectrum here. This is going to work for you. You're going to get a lot out of it, and feel free to reach out to
jump
Devin
into
or
it,
myself.
Sean. I'm excited.
Let's get into it. Okay. I like it. You got to push me. So here we go. So we're gonna jump into this now. Let me see. Here's our planning tool for your business. Okay. Now, by the way, we recognize probably a lot of you have already done this planning. We put, last chance to plan for 2021. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. Last chance to plan for 2021. Yes, you've already done it. Maybe you'll gain a nugget or two by seeing how the way that we plan, right? Now you'll notice.
Would you zoom it up a little bit more for us too? Just
sure.
Maybe even a little bit wider.
Yeah.
I don't want to show my age or anything.
Yes, that's all right. People are going to be watching on different screens anyway, so I appreciate the feedback. So you're going to see here we've got 2020 on in this planner. Can you guess why we have 2020 in the planning tool? That's because we want some context, right? Now, if you don't know these numbers and it'd be really difficult for yourself to go and get them, do not let perfection be the enemy of execution for you. But let me just run you through an example.
For those of people who would say, look, 2020 was a disaster, COVID, blah, 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 blah. It still gives you context. So please understand that 2020 is what 2020 is, and 21 will be whatever you make it. So it is a foundational year. And a lot of us had amazing years this year. So just know that it's not about good or bad. It's about effective and more effective.
I love that. Yeah, there's no judgment here. So first of all, we're punching in what was our average sales price, what was our average commission, what are we paying our agents. what was how many agents did we have on the team on average, and what was the units. You could play with these numbers to get to what your real numbers were. Okay, just use these numbers to get to what your real numbers were. Okay, now we've got in here some examples of expenses and stuff, right? For salaries, either
And the
could be-
orange fields are what you
Yeah.
fill in, and then everything else gets done for you.
Yeah, the orange or yellow is what's highlighted, and then we're annualizing these numbers. Okay, we're
Yellow, I
annualizing these
meant.
numbers.
It looks-
So let's say you've done 2020. You can see I've just punched in some example numbers here. Now we're getting to 2021. So I'll walk you through this a little bit of what this may or may not look like for your business. In this example, I have an intention, right, Devin? And so I'm going to use the first person here of growing my team from 6 agents to 14 agents. Now, you'll either have a limiting belief around that or you won't, right?
Right.
Here's what we know.
Yep.
We're late
and then we
into
can help you with
2020.
that as well.
Yeah, you could help with that as well. So look, let me put in a number here that's different, right? Not good or bad, just different. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to go up to 9. Now, actually, I might count on each agent selling a little less. So I put in 16 here instead of 18. However, I do plan on increasing my average sales price from $285 to $300. I have not yet planned to increase my average commission, and I'm going to keep the splits the same. And I know team owners. This is a no judgment zone for those of you listening. Many of you have probably done this many years. Some team owners deciding to pay their agents less, pay them more, different incentives, progressive splits. There's all kinds of layers here to the onion of being a real estate team owner. I'm keeping this simple, right? Keeping this simple. What's the average going to be? And then we're getting down into expenses. Again, here you can see I'm actually in this example, Devin, I'm adding a sales manager / coach for $3,500 a month because I'm going to have more agents. And I want to, one of the best things that most teams can do is introduce this ingredient we call accountability. Right? Accountability. So I put down, I'm going to pay a sales manager or some kind of coach a base pay of $3,500. And I'm going to up my executive assistant help from $1,500 to $3,000. By the way, that increases my payroll taxes, right? So you can see we're getting pretty detailed here. Detailed. I'm not going to go into every one of the details, Devin, if that's all right. What I want you to see is we're punching in a lot of the main fundamentals of the business that you have expenses around. You could add line items or delete them. You can see I kept Zillow the same. Some of you are going to be proud to have a Zillow number that says 0. Others of you have a much higher Zillow number. Same with pay-per-click, right? Could be.
Well, and again, in the no judgment zone, it's just our ROI conversation, right? It's just about, is it working for you or not, and getting real about that.
Yep. Well put. So here we've got I'm adding in an inside sales agent service, right? So I'm spending a little bit less on pay-per-click, a little bit less on some other things. And then I'm deciding to tweak something in my business like inside sales, right?
Right.
Photography, staging. I've got some video editing in there. Rent I'm taking down in this example, right? Other people are needing to stay home. They prefer to stay home. We're becoming a digitally based world where people prefer to do more things from home and on their schedule and flexibility. A lot of people are discovering that during COVID. And they're discovering maybe I only need an office for 1 or 2 days a week. You can get real creative here as a business owner. You can do now, instead of dedicated desks, you can do, Devin, I know in the consulting world, they've had this for a long time. Back in the day, I used to do a competition at Anderson Consulting, and they had what were called hot desks, which was you don't get to own a desk where your stuff camps out for, all day long. You hot desk it in. Right. So bring in your backpack and your laptop. If there's ever a moment in history where you could do this as a team owner, it's today. Say we're going to hot desk.
We work exactly. And we work and Regis and Spaces. These companies are all hot desk oriented type of companies. This is the culture that we're creating. And by the way, Gen Z understands it.
They do. They totally. In fact, it's native to them. Right.
Yeah.
Why would I be tied to a desk all day long? So CRM. We're keeping some things the same here. We're tweaking other things, equipment, supplies, copy, postage. I will tell you, Devin, this is the exact planning tool that I would take a potential team owner through when we were looking at the opportunity for them. Okay. Accounting fees, legal fees. These are a lot of fees that other industries forget about. Banking charges, right? How about paying off some debt, right? removing some of your debt load. You could take this to zero if you wanted. I think I've put in there a goal of taking it to zero through the year. Broker split, all that kind of stuff. I'm ending up here with a net profit of 152 versus my plan now here is showing me a net profit of 244. Now, if we were to just stop there, right? Most of you would on the watching this video would say, hey, that's cool. That's some details that I don't normally think about in a pretty easy process. Correct? It's relatively painless. I think we just went through that in 5 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, so congratulations, you could be done. I want to point out a couple of extra little bonuses that it's a way to look at your business you might not have thought.
I just want to pause right there, though, and just reach out. I've got a lot of brothers in the battle in the real estate space that are out there, and if this video is going to them personally, and they had not had the gumption or they tuned out when they saw a spreadsheet, I just want you to hang in there enough to say it's okay, and that you need to understand that someone needs to take your arm and walk you through this process at whatever level that looks like. And a high D just wants to get to the bottom line, and I is like got their glazed eyes, going on, what's going on there. The S's and C's are into this, and that's 55% of the population. The challenge is that a lot of team owners are I's and D's. So just know that this is something that a lot of times we have to handhold through the process, and it's a big part of it.
Yeah, and I'd be glad to do that even just as a courtesy. We're coming from contribution here. We know when you plan purposefully, it's generally going to work out better for you. In your business, and at least you're going to feel like, okay, I've got a plan I can follow towards profitability. You notice how we ended on profitability, Devin, not on how many homes I'm going to sell this year.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
a lot of people are forgetting that in planning. They're forgetting. I want to sell 200 homes. Congrats. What are your profits going to be? Oh, that's not at the tip of the tongue.
And again, it's the old, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? I mean, I think that's the thing that I would say, bite the bullet. It's the holiday week. If you haven't gone deep enough on this stuff, please just do it for yourself, do it for your family, do it for the generational expectations that you have in building wealth through real estate. Brilliant.
Love it. Okay. So back into this, we're at operating profit. So if you take nothing from this, it's my operating profit from the business is $250,000. Some people are going to say that's amazing. Some people are going to say that's well below what I do already. Again, no judgment. Tweak the numbers to what you want them to be for your business. And there's a few important factors here. The first is what we call a business break even. Okay. A business break even, what I'm doing here, Devin, with my spreadsheet numbers, I'm taking my total expenses and and I'm calculating my GCI break even. Okay. Now you and I were coached by a lot of the same people, Gary Keller. I was coached by a guy named Abe Shreve, Tony DeCello, Diana Kokoska. We were both coaches in that organization for quite a while. This was a key number for us to understand. When in a month, Devin, do you start making profit? Now, in a regular business, they'd ask you, is it the 10th of the month or the 20th of the month? In our business of real estate and treating this like a business, it's literally how most of us are going to think about it. What is the GCI number? So I know when my team puts $56,398 under contract in GCI, now I am making my first dollar of profit. Do you get that? Yeah. I am making my first dollar in profit for the month at that. Now, if you want to think of it in terms of volume, we can break it out that way too. Now, we've added to that. You can say here, we're saying plus personal break even. Well, what does that mean? You're punching in what Devin's personal expenses are for the month, right? For the month, what are your personal expenses? Now, there's a layer to this I'm going to get into. We've got a tab called income streams. But personal expenses, let's just say it's $18,000 a month. Maybe you can run on $5,000 a month or $8,000 a month, or maybe it's $28,000 a month because you've got a lot of different things going on. You want to give a lot away, whatever you want to do, whoever you want to bless, right? Money is only good for the good it can do. Now I can contextualize this in terms of what is the GCI I got to hit as a team in order to hit not just paying for the business, Devin, but paying for my life as a team owner. I want to make some profit. If we get to the end of the year and we haven't made a profit, I guess it's good if we didn't lose money, but really we're not playing not to lose, right? We're playing to win. So what's that number? In my world, that number is 92,000. Now, in most of your
Now,
markets, if
let me
the
ask you,
average,
Sean, is this
yeah,
also, is this like a salary as well, or is this different than salary?
I'll get to that in the next tab, which is income stream planner. But good point. This is purely based off of the profits of the business. This is not paying yourself as an agent or paying yourself as a manager. Because if you remember, because a lot of you, and the reason Devin is asking this question, a lot of you, yes, you're a team owner. And also, yes, you're the listing agent. And also, yes, you're the CEO or sales manager. So realize when we put in, Devin, here a 50% commission where half of our revenue goes to the agents, if you're an agent on your team, you're getting paid at 50% as well. This is one of the major mistakes that most team owners make if they're also in production, is they do not pay themselves like every other agent on their team.
Right.
And literally what my coach would do, Devin, he would actually have us create separate checking accounts. So we would tell our broker, oh, no, I'm the listing agent on that deal. I get paid at 50%. That money goes into the Sean's listing agent checking account. And then what's left over for the team, the other 50% minus expenses, that went into the team business account. Business
a profit first hack, if you will. Yeah, absolutely.
It is a complete profit first, which is because otherwise, here's what happens. You know what happens? You can't tell if you can get out of production or not. You can't tell. I mean, I made $300,000 in total profit. That's what my accountant tells me. But how much of that was from the team profits and how much of that was as a listing agent on my team, right? Because if you step out of production, you're going to have somebody else take those listings and you're going to pay them 50%. So you have to pay yourself first in this model so you can understand. And you know what, Devin, I've done many an audit analysis. This is where it's going to hit close to home for some of you. And so hear me when I say this. I have probably analyzed over 100 teams' actual profit P&Ls. And I can tell you, for the agents who actually track those numbers and know them, often they're making little to no profits from the team. And yes, they hit a big number, 300,000, 500,000 in total profit, but actually almost all of it was coming from being a listing agent. And it doesn't need to stay that way. But what was happening is they were not paying close attention to holding the business accountable to a profit. And instead it was put on the back of them as a listing agent and hustling out the door on, 5 listing appointments a week. So you can do it that way. That's
never
okay.
know.
Yeah.
They ultimately never know, Sean, whether they can actually step out of that role, and how to step out of the role, because they never started paying themselves first. And this is true also if you're representing buyers, by the way. Same exact thing if you're representing buyers. If you're a lead buyer's agent and you have buyer's agents on your team, and you're in a situation where you're counting and throwing extra dollars towards your corporate P&L and then mixing it all up, it just is a very ineffective way for you to get to know when you can step out of production. If you want to step out of production, me, I still love representing buyers. I still love doing listings, but I just do it a lot less, and I'm much more choosy about who I work with. And that's a different type of situation.
And it doesn't have to be cold turkey. It can be in between. You could top grade to sellers and decide to delegate out all of the buyers. You could top grade to over X price point, and you just make a rule everything below that. I know people who top grade by how many weeks of vacation they're going to go on. So, hey, I've got 1 or 2 other agents on my team who are strong listing agents. I'm going to go on a vacation 1 week out of every month. And if I'm out of town that week, then I am just going to give that lead to another agent on my team who's a strong listing agent who they've normally vetted, right? And head over to their house for a listing appointment or whatever. And then they pay that agent 50% or 30% or whatever the number is. And they just know that has bought me freedom because, I'm going to go from being a listing agent making $250 to a listing agent making $150. However, here's where I'm going to make it up is on the team profitability. So we've got all that done. I mean, we just planned your 2021 for your business profits, right? For your team business profits. But
I'm excited to talk about streams of revenue. Let's go more further there.
I know you are. So that's what we've got as well. Now, again, here, I've just put in an example. Okay. And here's kind of your different buckets of income or streams of income. They're represented as columns, as you can see. One is you as an agent. If you're not an agent in your team, then just, go ahead and put in zeros here, right?
Right.
If and now team manager is kind of the middle one that a lot of team owners also forget about. You play a role, if you're not the listing agent, probably, of being the recruiter and the productivity coach and all these other hats that you're playing. If you had to hire somebody else to do those jobs, how much would it cost in your market today? Put a realistic number in there. And again, let's just get real to get right. Pay yourself as your business grows, pay yourself what you would pay another person to do that role, have that major hat on in your business. Okay. And then here's where team profits come in. So if I went back here to my team planner and it's telling me 244, I mean, eyeballing it here, I can put in 20 grand a month, right? 20 grand a month.
Right.
And I just drag this down like this. Now, here's the key part. As you go along each month, put in what the actuals are. So maybe in January, look at here, you can tell I have to change this to 2021. Here in January, I'm going to put in, let's say, I had a profit. Yeah, it was decent. It wasn't what I wanted. It was, 14,126. Ooh, February though. February went up to 23,456, right? We are keeping tabs on an annual basis, aren't we? Right? So we want to see how consistent our income is in each of this revenue streams. And here's something for you to think about. What other revenue streams that are closely aligned with your existing business could you get? Devin, I know this is something you're passionate about. You and I had the same thought for many years, right? Like, I've got this profitable team. It's throwing off all kinds of revenue. It's throwing off all kinds of recruits. I'm helping to build the brokerage. We were at a brokerage that paid us, a portion of the profits on a monthly basis. But for me, it was mathematically uncertain. Like, it was like, I could have 6 agents who'd come to my brokerage who had a closing in the month of November. And I ended up with $0 from that because the owner of the brokerage, the local brokerage owner, didn't know how to run a consistently profitable business. And that bugged me, right? Because if I was his partner, and then, could I buy 1%? Can I buy 5%? As a beg to buy 3% of a brokerage. It was just kind of nuts. So tell me more about that in terms of how you view these revenue streams.
Well, what I love about the conversation around brokerage is that as a former coach to brokerage owners and a former coach to people that were, having, quote, lots of multiple streams of income revenue conversations, what I found was that the average brokerage from our prior brokerage was not making net a whole lot of money. And yet it was costing them a lot of heartache. You talk about all the different roles that a person has in a team. Well, add that to brokerage, and now you're dealing with the same fact that they've got to be the chief recruiter, they've got to be the chief productivity coach, they got to do all those things, and then they still have to share 48, 52, whatever percent of their profit, and it's their responsibility to make that possible. And what I would just say is that when I got interviewed and talked to every major brokerage that was out there, and I'm talking about Compass and Realgy and BHHS and C21 and Coldwell Banker and all these other big companies, when we were looking at what would be the best home for building the most profitable, most successful real estate team in history, we obviously landed at our current brokerage, and we did because of the fact that every single person is a part of the ownership equation, and everything is calculated based on gross commission income, not based on some other number. And that's what makes it so powerful. And then the other thing that's so cool is that we actually have this commitment from the brokerage that every single piece of company dollar is shared 50-50 with the agents, which is amazing. And that's company dollar. We're talking about actual dollars at the top line going back. It's not some arbitrary calculation that's made location by location. This is at a NASDAQ corporate level, which is really, really fun.
Well, and so for income streams, what you helped me to discover as well is what's the amount of risk that you have going into it? What's the upfront capital investment? And look, this could be, you could fill in that spreadsheet, back to the spreadsheet just for a second. You could put in there title, mortgage, inspection, I know some people have even branched out to insurance. What you're quickly finding as you go through this exercise as a team owner is my business benefits a lot of different other businesses, and I can
Yeah.
either co-op into that business, I can be a silent partner, I can be an active partner. What's the least amount of friction that I could get into ancillary, like very parallel, very congruent business models? And that, at least what we discovered, right? For example, with brokerage, we could do that in a way where like it didn't involve much extra effort at all, almost no friction, and it was completely scalable across the United States. So we are referencing that in a way where, look, you could put coaching on here, you could put training on here, you could put a lot of things on here. What you're going to find is, because of your ability to own a team and generate leads, you're at the very top of the food chain when it comes to generating that massive amount of wealth for other people. And there's no reason why you also can't get a portion of that wealth building that you're doing for others, right? It could be
right.
It could be a video tour company. It could be a staging company. There's all kinds. You got to pick your passions here and find your talent, right?
Right. And having coached a lot of agents from a lot of different brokerages, what I can tell you is that while many of these ideas of diversification are highly resourceful and very effective, what most people bypass when they're building a team is they're bypassing the ability to look at brokerage. And brokerage is a really, really important conversation to have. And then what you also have is a lot of our friends, people that are in the business and the industry, have chosen to invest into a traditional franchise type of brokerage, whether that's a C21 or whether that's another type of brokerage. And what happens then is that they are actually basically beholden to the franchisor, and they have to perform to the franchise guidelines and those kinds of things, which, we're now in a place where the franchise may be a thing of the past going forward. And the unfranchise is really, I think, where we're headed with a lot of this stuff. The thing that I know we promised to wrap up in 90 seconds. So what I'd love to do is just get you to kind of give me your feedback, and then I'll be glad to give my feedback. My number one thing that I would ask people to take away from this is that, number one, plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And the best thing you can possibly do is to reach out, and regardless of brokerage, regardless of anything else, we want to just help you. Number one. Number two is that at the end of the day, it's a very important conversation about how you plan to diversify. If you look at what we're doing here, is that our job is, you have tangible assets that you're carrying forward, and then you have intangible. And what we want to do is we want to look at how assets and liabilities in each of these categories are added and subtracted. We want to add assets. We want to obviously eliminate liabilities. We want to add intangible assets and eliminate intangible liabilities. And this is why coaching and training can be incredibly helpful. But what I will tell you is that the challenge inside of this is that it's a key process that you got to understand how to take advantage of different revenue streams through this process. And that's really what I want to bring home more than anything else.
Yep. Yeah, thank you for that. So reach out to Devin. You can DM him. He's got his phone number there. Reach out to me. We're here for you. We're going to make this this tool available. And again, my number one challenge to you would be this: go and use the tool. Do it. Plan it on your calendar for 30 minutes. We did a 2-minute intro, so we're still under the 30 minutes. Even with all of our additional conversation and wealth building conversation, we're under the 30 minutes. You can do this, or if you've already done it, do it as a secondary exercise. Purposely plan for your business, for your profits, and for your long-term wealth. Devin, thank you for the gift of that perspective. Thanks to those of you watching this video. Please like, comment, share this with somebody else who you think would find it useful. And we're going to be bringing more stuff like this to you to make 2021 for you great. Thanks again, Devin.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you.
Bye, everybody.